Did you see our little ad?
All right. Well, thank you for watching the Barry Beat podcast live from Fly on the Wall Productions, Main Street, Barry, Vermont. In-house tonight on a Saturday night. Let's give it up for Tom Lauzon and Raylene Menet.
How are you?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
On a Saturday night, I was saying I've never been on the Barry Beat before. And you're like, yeah, you have. Yeah. I couldn't remember being here on a Saturday.
Yes.
So,
right.
Yes.
I have never been here. So, yeah.
I'm not sure that we've ever been here on a Saturday.
Really?
I may have done a Saturday before. We only do Saturday Barry Beat show. It's not Barry Beats. Barry Beat shows on Saturdays when there's something that really needs to be done.
You mean like at 9:30
community.
at night when you tried to get me to come down and do a show a couple weeks ago? You said you want to go down and do one right now.
I must have been
not
feeling
really,
a little-
Michael.
So, Michael, I love you. I want your ratings to be sky high. But, man,
We're
Saturday
already-
night,
We're already
if
sky high.
people are tuning in, I'm like, dude, you got to get a life. So I'm a tax accountant.
No. We want
5 o'clock
we're
this
thankful
morning,
for
I
those
was
that
in
are
my
coming
office working away. You know, it's been a long day, but I'm thinking, man, anybody who's tuning in at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night instead of jumping into a bottle of 12-year-old scotch, you got a problem.
No, these
you
are
got to get a
people-
life.
These are people that care about our community, which is why
well,
you're here.
I care. Well, do we do reruns?
We do not.
Yeah, well,
do
it stays
reruns.
on the page so you can watch it anytime.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
so it's like
and
a rerun.
This will go
Yeah.
up to
Okay.
CVTV. So,
All right, so the
so
folks
full
who
disclosure,
are
if
the folks who are like, you know, they're down at Pearl Street Pizza, or because it was hard to find a place to park. So
Yes.
if they're at the Quarry, Pearl Street, over at the Cornerstone, over at Ladder One, oh yeah, they can
Yes.
watch it later on.
absolutely.
Okay, and they got it going on because they're having a good time,
And we're here.
well, but we're gonna have a good time.
We are going to have lots of fun.
Lots
of fun. I fully anticipate having lots of fun. And I just realized I didn't transition over, so everybody's been looking at me for the last 5 minutes. That's kind of depressing.
No,
But you know, there's
Michael,
times where
you're a good-looking man, but you know what? No.
beard.
Trim the beard a bit. I think.
I've been.
I think
I've
trim
been
the.
telling
I think shape the beard. The beard's looking like it's just gonna take you over. I think you need to shape it a little bit.
Yes.
Well, I went to Gusto's last night because, you know, now that
Michael and
so
the beard out at
I know.
Gusto's,
Well,
ladies.
So because of the good work that Aired Out has done, I think that they've changed the narrative of what Gusto's used to be and what I remember it being. And it's just they
Gusto's
have amazing.
has always been awesome.
It has, but I think
Perfect
there was
place to show off that beard, man.
I know. Well, there was a reputation with Gusto's a while back. I mean, there
Yeah,
was.
but under the really.
But now, I mean,
Yeah.
they've done such an amazing job down there. The food is awesome. Wings. I had.
Breakfast tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Ding, 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 ding.
I did not know
9
that.
to
You did
2.
not know that?
9 to 2.
No, because everybody talks about, hey, no place to have breakfast in Barre. It's like, yeah, Gusto's.
It's true. Well, I saw Becky down there, Becky DeCroto.
Yeah.
And she was going up to my beard and being like, "You need to trim it," because she owns the barbershop.
You know what? Why don't you just put yourself in Becky's hands?
Oh, I've done
Michael?
that before.
She'll make you a stud.
Yeah, just
Michael,
Believe me, I know.
Do it. Do it.
I know.
Put yourself in Becky's hands and let her just
trim it up.
trim it up and do her thing.
I know.
What do you think?
Will
you do it?
I think.
Will you
I
do
will
it? Will
talk
you
to
make
Becky
that
about
commitment? Will you make that community commitment today?
Becky, give me a call.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Becky, it's all yours, honey.
All right. So we really wanted to get you down
Michael's
here.
already thinking, why did I ask this asshole to be here?
Again, want to full disclosure tonight, folks. If
Michael,
you're
I
watching,
make things happen.
we are.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Hey, so we do stream onto, or not stream, but we do CVTV now too.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's pretty awesome.
So my mom might be watching.
She might end up
Sorry
watching.
about the curse, Mom.
I know. I did it last
Love
week.
you, Mom.
Just a reminder
Sorry.
to folks that are watching, this is an adult show.
Yes.
Right.
Well,
Since I did it last week and you were like, oh.
Yes.
The curse word?
He used the...
Yeah, I used the F-bomb.
Yes.
The
so
F-bomb.
we,
And his Michael's eyes got that big around. He goes, I forgot to tell you.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, he said, I forgot to tell you.
I forgot to say that. So, full disclosure for everybody watching, this is a show that's geared for, adults, people that can vote and that want to be involved in our community, which is the reason why you're down
We're
here
here.
tonight.
Yeah.
We've been seeing a lot of disinformation going on in our community. I will call it disinformation because there is a difference between misinformation and disinformation. And I'm very clear that I hate disinformation. So that being said, we're seeing a lot of disinformation with the Barre partnership, and more importantly, the most disinformation that's being put out there is through about the BADC.
I haven't seen, I've seen a few posts, but they're dumb, so I don't pay attention to them.
Well,
no,
when
but what do you
you-
mean,
when
like
you-
disinformation?
Just stuff that it's just. I mean, we could go through the top 10.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
Lord. Yeah,
I don't want to
that
do
one.
Or
that.
at
The
least
point
two
is
of them.
that I just want to talk about the
value?
BADC and
Let's
the value
talk about,
of.
Let's be positive.
Let's be
tonight.
positive. Yes.
Let's talk about.
Well,
the
I just wanted to
value.
preface the reason why.
Okay. Well, thanks for that.
Sorry,
But let's talk about the value that
Yes.
these organizations bring. Let's
Bring.
talk about advertising. Michael, I've read what you've read, and one of the common themes is, they've been doing this and advertising that, and what have you gotten for it? And it's ignorant. It just is. If you understand business, and I think some of the folks who are posting just simply don't understand business. An advertising campaign is about a message. So I'll say a few words to you. So, Coca-Cola. What comes to mind?
Santa Claus polar bears.
What comes to mind is their advertising campaign, their image, okay, the brand. Marcus West. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Marcus West.
What comes to my mind with
What comes to mind?
lots of mail.
But something comes immediately to mind, doesn't it?
It
A
does.
message,
A
a
message.
brand. Now, maybe you don't like that brand, but listen, it's in your head. Why? Because he's coming at you every week with his silly mail, and when you get something from Marcus West, it invokes an image, a response. And that's what advertising is all about. And there are a lot of people, we have them in city council chambers. We have a mayor who doesn't understand business, doesn't understand advertising, doesn't understand the value in building a brand. And that's what BADC is doing. That's what the partnership is doing. They are building a brand. And you don't build a brand overnight.
Right.
And you certainly don't reduce their funding. When people say, well, what did you get for this?
lot.
It honestly, at times, it's subliminal. And I look at what the partnership is doing, what BADC is doing. Man, and the value they're bringing, Michael, $6.5 million. Now, due to others as well, it was a team effort, but it was headed by BADC.
Yeah.
And, I'm sorry, anytime, anywhere, anyone who wants to debate that, I will debate them anytime, anywhere, and I'll make them look dumb. They bring value, Michael. As simple as that.
I completely agree. And for those that are watching,
I get fired up. Sorry.
you can certainly ask questions. We would like for you to click the like button, of course, and would also like for you to click share.
What does that mean?
The like button?
Yeah.
It just makes a little thumb go up in the air.
Oh, okay.
Is anybody doing the little thumbs up in the air?
Yeah, well, actually, you want them to click the
want
like button on the actual post.
Yes.
And then if they
I also
do
want
it
you to share
during-
the video.
No, but
Right.
but seriously, let's talk about
It builds
let's
your
talk a bit about
analytics
the
and
partnership.
audience.
Yes.
So, you saw, you saw the letter from the governor, who
Amazing.
grew up in Barre and drives through Barre often, had nothing but great things to say about the partnership and how downtown looked. And I got to tell you, Michael, as someone who has been here, lived here a lot of years, I appreciate the history. You know, I know the history, and I know there's a lot of people who don't. They haven't been here long enough, but I do.
Yeah.
And downtown looked great.
Yep.
You know, I mean, if you look at, the Heritage Festival last year, what Tracy has been doing, I mean, she has just been knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
Like time after time after time. BADC, look at Prospect Heights. Look at the auditorium. Look at the East Barre transmission line. Look at all they've given to the community over the last year. They've shown their worth.
Yeah.
And all they're saying is, look, we want to keep spreading a positive message about Barre. Give us $20,000 in order to do that.
Which is peanuts.
Which is nothing. When you look at, Michael, I could tell you story after story about, BADC, Cody, NMA, and how helpful they are. I mean, we're looking at bringing 2 businesses to Barre right now on the developer side of my life. Yeah. And they are there 24/7, 365, and they are impressive.
And I think that's a really important thing to point out, Tom, is that you have that inside track for information. Because you're in that world of developing, and a lot of people, like, I'm not, but I know, I listen to people, I listen to you, I listen to other people.
But you keep an open mind, Michael. And
right,
some
exactly.
people, their minds are closed because they can't directly take credit for it. They don't want it to happen, so they're openly hostile towards the partnership and BADC, and that's sad. Because, quite frankly, we all hear about, we all hear about the scary Barre reputation. We all hear about that. Let me tell you, the message that the partnership is sending, that BADC is sending, that is invaluable in combating that reputation.
Yeah, and it's far from scary. Look at all the people that were
absolutely.
here.
Well,
this
I mean, I
year
had
even.
trouble this evening finding a parking place.
Yeah.
Had to drive around twice before one finally opened up. Yeah. So, listen, Michael, I know business, and there are folks on the council who don't. It's not there, and that's okay. It's not their wheelhouse. But I can tell you that BADC and the partnership are doing more to advance Barre than any policy we've ever passed or discussed in council chambers has ever done. It's just a fact.
Now, regarding the BADC, and the thing that always comes to my mind is obviously City Place, which you were incredibly involved in, but BADC was as well. And I mean, we walk by that, and I remember people constantly saying, "Oh, what's the city doing?" They were downing the project, and I was like, let's do it, right? Let's try it and see what happens. And now we have this huge building in Barre City, that is giving to the grand list, right? Because they do have a tax stabilization.
Oh yeah, I mean, current
administration
takes credit for it, but it was all mine. Sorry,
yeah,
that was a phased-in grand list approach.
Yes, I completely agree with you. There's no doubt that was you, BADC, and I think Shumlin. Yeah, Shumlin was involved in that.
Well, actually, I mean, to be fair. That project first started under the Douglas administration.
Okay.
And Governor Douglas, Neil Lunderville, was the secretary. I think, what was Neil's position at that time? But I remember Governor Douglas, I talked to the governor about it at that time, and the governor said, well, you'll have to talk to Neil. And I said, okay. And he said, and if you can get Neil to agree to advance the oh, no, that was our Main Street. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. That was our Main Street. The Main Street was under Governor Douglas. And Governor Douglas made the mistake of saying, well, if you can get Neil, who was Neil Underville, who was Secretary of Transportation at the time, and he said, if you can get Neil to advance that project, I'm all for it. And I said, oh, okay, well, how do I do that? Well, just make an appointment with Neil. So for 6 months, every Tuesday morning, I would trudge up to National Life and I would say, "Hi, I'm here to see Neil." And I would sit my ass in Neil's office. And it took and I would sit there, and eventually they would say, "I'm sorry, the secretary is too busy to see you today." And I'd say, "Okay, well, thank you very much. Can I get you a coffee or anything before I go?" And it took 6 months. And after 6 months, Neil was like, "I hate you. Come in."
Yeah.
That's what you call dedication for our community.
There are a lot of, Main Street, I can't. I guess I can't take credit for that. There are a lot of people.
No. I'm not saying. There was definitely
that was an awesome project.
Yeah.
It really was. It was a great time. I loved my time as mayor because we got things done.
Right.
And sometimes admittedly, I get a little antsy because I would do things a little differently than they're being done now. And sometimes I get, I get a little antsy and I think, put me in, coach. But, unfortunately, the current administration, I don't know if they're worried about getting shown up or what they're worried about, but they don't really take advantage of my institutional knowledge, and I still have it.
Yeah.
Well,
in the Rolodex.
Michael, I can text the governor now, and do on occasion. I don't abuse the privilege because I appreciate the fact that the governor has trusted me with his real cell phone, where late at night we text back and forth once in a while and talk about different things and what's working, what's not. But that Rolodex really is that. And it's not the Rolodex, it's the trust. It's the relationships where, every time, whether it was Governor Shumlin, Governor Scott, Governor Douglas, every time we were fortunate enough to get grant funds or get a project in Barre, I always made it a point to let them know we're not going to embarrass you. Yep. We are going to work so hard, and we are going to make this project perfect, and we're going to make you proud. We're going to make you proud that you chose us as your partner. Yeah. And that's really, really important, because for every community, every time, I always thought this way, every time Barre got money, it meant like Montpelier didn't, Hardwick didn't, Orange didn't, like the money that they allocated to Barre was money, our resources are limited. So every time we got money, it meant someone else didn't. And if we failed, we let everybody down.
Right,
so thankfully, we didn't. We never failed.
Yeah. So regarding the BADC, and I think I had heard somewhere about representation in Barre City for it. And I see that Michael Deering is actually watching with us, who is a council liaison to the BADC.
And Michael does a great job.
Yes. Absolutely.
Michael's everywhere. I love you, Michael. I love your commitment. Yes. Thank you.
But one of the comments that I've heard is that there's no representation.
Michael, it's control. It's not representation. That's crap. Okay, the administration is they're not talking about representation. Because any time I want to discuss something with MA or with the president or with their executive team,
you can.
I don't have a problem.
Right.
I call them up, and they're totally transparent, and they talk to me about things. And
same with me.
No. We're not talking about. So the folks who talk about representation, you can be represented anytime you want. What they want BADC to come and bow to them. And I'm sorry, but BADC is 10 times better than they ever thought of being. So it's just an excuse to hold things up, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree.
Personal.
And that's
go ahead, get me all excited.
I know,
fired
up.
Well,
I just want to, for one of those those reasons, as I just
we have,
listen to
but
those.
Michael, we have representation.
No, I know. I mean, we got David
they invited
Sitchell,
me. There was a steering meeting for Prospect Heights. What an incredible project. Fully built out, $12.5 million. We hear people talk about gotta go to the grand list.
Who was at the steering meeting? Could anybody
Who was
go?
at the steering meeting? Well, Nicholas, our city manager, Storella Castro. I call him Nicholas all the time.
Castro,
I am struggling with that last name. I shouldn't be. Karen is so Italian. I shouldn't struggle with it. Storella Castro. So City Manager Storelli Castro was there.
Am I saying it wrong?
I'm sorry?
Am I saying it wrong? I say Storelli Castro.
Storelli Castro.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
it's an effort.
Yeah.
There's an
Yeah.
effort that goes into that.
Very much.
We'll have to talk to him about
he was there providing input, and it was a great discussion about how we structure. So how we structure the owning entity. Had a few attorneys there. Always put a damper on things. But it was a great meeting about the project and what could be. I put numbers to it. And, I mean, it could be transformative, Michael. I mean, you're talking $12.5 million added to the grand list, $500,000, fully built out now, $500,000 in education and municipal property taxes. It's a pretty, and most importantly, 50 lots on which you could build single-family units, duplexes, up to a quad, 4 units. So we wouldn't limit. If somebody came along and said, look, I want to build a 4-unit residential dwelling, they could do that on one of those lots. So at least 50 residential units, perhaps more. Really exciting project. And, so BADC invited everyone there. I went, and I felt like I was heard. I felt like the questions I had were answered. And I felt like my opinion was valued. But, Michael, you got to be part of the process. You can't just sit there saying, well, I expect everybody to come to me and bow because I'm whatever, and bring this information to me. It's hard work. To advance the city is hard work. You got to be doing it, 24/7, 365.
Right. And part of that hard work that they're doing is requiring the additional advertising, right? And because those properties,
it's integral, Michael. It's not
right. Because why would you want to, if you're not advertising for our community? And as a side note, we're getting 2 positions for the price of 1. Because Barre Town helps pay for that position,
right?
We need that. They need that. They have informed us that they need that additional position for advertising.
Well, and why wouldn't we trust them, Michael? I mean, holy cow. So let's look at their success. Let's look at where they've been. You get people who say, well, we spent $50,000 on an advertising campaign. What did you get for it? Well, Michael, it's the same thing as saying we spend $2 million on a police force. What do you get for it? What do you get for it, Michael?
You spend thousands and thousands of dollars
So,
on car insurance, and you may never use it.
Answer that.
I mean,
It's all anecdotal, and quite frankly,
It
it's just stones being cast by people who don't understand business. They don't understand how to really advance a community. They don't understand that you've got, if you don't tell your story, someone else will fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
So if Barre Area Development doesn't tell Barry's story, if they don't constantly let people stay on message, stay on point, let people know what a great place this is to do business, listen, someone else is going to tell the story, and it's probably going to be your competitor in Berlin or Montpelier or wherever saying, no, you don't want to do business in Barre. You want to do business here.
Right.
So,
have
I
to
can't
combat
say
that.
enough good things about AME and the board. I mean, keep in mind, Michael, that when you vote for Barre Area Development, you don't just get the executive director.
Right.
You don't just get the marketing director.
Right.
You get those board members, those members of, those business leaders who are constantly advancing ideas on how to push this community forward.
Yeah. And that's an important thing.
People, Pearl Street Pizza, Pete Coleman, Forbin's Fine. I mean, I could go on and on and on. The people that I have worked with, the people that I've brought to Barre, as a developer, the people that I've provided space to and built out space. And I got to tell you that every single time Barre Area Development has been right there, and they've been a great partner. So if you want that progress to stop, then vote no. if you want the progress to continue,
And
vote
expedited.
yes. It's all about
think
ego.
it's
It's all because the current administration doesn't like the fact that there are people who just won't bow to them.
And it's not the Scott administration when
Oh,
you say
God,
that.
no.
Just wanted to clarify
No, we're
that.
talking local
We're
politics
talking
here.
local.
Just wanted to clarify that.
Are you kidding me? No. If I called the governor right now and said, "Hey, I've got a potential business that's thinking about relocating to Barre," he'd be here.
Yeah.
He would literally,
No.
on a Saturday night, he'd come.
You think we can
Other
get him?
people never show up.
That's true.
So we're fired up
we're
on a
fired
Saturday
up.
night.
We are fired up. So we definitely want folks to really consider
I
Article
want
7
them to vote yes.
and vote yes.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
You know-
I so a couple years ago, they did come through with the marketing plan, and we were kind of lukewarm on it for city council. There was some concerns, and it passed. It passed with flying colors in Barre City. Again, just stating that the administration is, somebody just asked, it's the local, not state.
Yeah.
No, we're not talking.
Local
We're not talking
Right.
about the Scott administration.
No, we are not. So we took a chance on that, and at that time it was under different leadership, and there was some concern there. So but seeing what's happening now with the hiring of Cody and now MA, I see BADC blossoming, and for all the work that they've done in the last year,
In spite of
and
the lack of support.
and that's
And that-
the thing.
And I got to
That's
tell
the
you,
thing.
Michael, that is frustrating to me because the one thing that it all works when we all pull in the same direction. And I don't understand the lack of support. I don't understand the hostility. Let me tell you, it will be a cold day in hell before I ever vote as a counselor to bring economic development into City Hall and to make the city government responsible for economic development, because that will be the day that there will be no economic development. Right now, we have scores of people. We have board members. We have a May. We have a marketing director. I mean, we have Shannon who works so hard, and they work 24/7.
Yeah.
And you're simply not going to get that level of commitment if you bring it into City Hall. You're not, Michael.
No.
And you mentioned no support. You are correct on that. I
No,
mean,
zero. Well, you know what? And that's
Well,
not,
so
I
let
want to
me
be careful about
correct
that because
that.
I think
That's-
there
yeah.
are
in City Hall there
counselors.
is.
No, I think there are counselors. I think Nicholas. I think Nicholas finds himself at times in a tough spot. I think he is smart. I think he is absolutely supportive. When I have private conversations with him, he gets it. He understands.
Yeah.
And I think there are a lot of the counselors. I think a majority of the counselors are absolutely supportive of the things that are going. I mean, ribbon cutting up at Quality Market. Great young family. Passing of the torch. They're grabbing the torch. They're bringing it forward. They're making improvements. And I think we had a quorum there. I think we had 4 city
We
councilors.
did.
We did. And, so to say, I want to be fair. It's not everyone on the council who is unsupportive. Matter of fact, the funny thing is, I think a majority of the council is absolutely supportive of the work the partnership and BADC is doing. I think sometimes they don't really talk about it because they don't want the conflict. They don't want, the pushback that's going to follow. Well, guess what? I'm ready to push. I'm ready to shove. I'm ready to lead.
And that's the
Simple as
reason
that.
why we're doing that tonight.
That's right.
That's the reason why we're down here tonight.
Right.
We're down here to, encourage people to vote for Article 7.
Because the city's been idling too damn long.
It has been. It
And,
absolutely has been.
We had things going in a great direction, and right now, I don't know what direction
Yeah,
we're going
I
in.
don't know either.
And we've got to start supporting the partnership. I mean, come on, they're doing great things. BADC is doing great things, and it's really unfortunate that they're doing it in spite of an unsupportive administration. It's not right.
the Scott administration.
Not
Right.
the Scott administration. We're talking about local stuff here, dude.
I know, but I just have to clarify that because people ask when it's said.
Listen,
Because when they think of administration,
Phil Scott is going to serve
Connie,
another
they did
7
not.
or 8 terms. I
Yeah.
hope.
I hope so too.
You know, he is. I am. So if they have any doubts about how I feel about Phil Scott, I am honored to share the same damn planet as Phil Scott.
Same here.
Me
So
That's
Connie,
how I feel.
Me too.
Connie asks, didn't the whole council vote to add the extra money to the ballot? And that's not entirely true. So it was a split vote. It was 2 against 5, and the 5 of us decided to put it on the ballot to let folks decide, to make that decision. And there was only 2 people that voted no.
Yeah.
And one of them is one that actually threatened Cody to defund him because he was doing
Jake?
business
Yes.
with
Just say it.
aired out.
Yeah, he doesn't dare.
Yeah.
Jake,
well, whatever.
Jake, yeah,
Whatever.
threatened to
You know, the
defund
simple
Cody.
fact of the matter is, Michael, I'll work with anybody.
No, I
you
know.
I don't know if it's intimidation. If he's worried that I'm going to run for mayor next year, I don't know. You know what?
God, I wish
That's-
you would.
No, that's up to him. That's up to him. If this crap continues, I just might. Because I'm tiring of it, Michael. I just want to see everyone do well. You know, when you talk about different businesses around town, whether it's Fort Bend's Finest, AR Market, Pearl Street Pizza, Michael, I built those businesses.
Yeah.
One brick at a time.
I remember going to the openings and everything.
And guess what? I'm not done.
Yeah.
I have more plans for this summer, bigger projects for this summer, with or without the support of the mayor. I will advance those.
Yeah.
Because I have an obligation to Barre. Karen and I have raised our kids and had a great life, and I just want to give back. So the best part of my life is working with all of these young entrepreneurs, working with Stefano and Pete, and they're cool, man. They're young. They have a ton of energy, and all you have to do is give them resources and let them go. And that's how I feel about Barre Area Development and the partnership. We're providing a pittance, $20,000. Seriously? I mean, come on. It's not even a lot of money, Michael.
Believe
And
me,
so
I
you
know.
provide them with a little bit of resources and let them go.
And voting
And the
yes.
results are amazing.
Voting yes is your response to all of this. That's
Correct.
I mean, it really is.
I
Voting
mean, what
yes
have you got to
me-
bitch
is-
about? Why would you say no? What have you got? $6.5 million. Barre Area Development, responsible for bringing $6.5 million. Senator Sanders, and thank you, Senator Sanders, for those earmarks. But somebody had to lead.
Yeah.
And that person was Cody at that time, who was their executive director. The organization was Barre Area Development. They led, and the result was $6.5 million for the city of Barre. That's what we got. It's not funny money. It's real. So why in the world, when you have an organization that brings $6.5 million into the city in, last year, now they're advancing Prospect Heights, which fully built out will grow our grand list by $12.5 million, $500,000 in education and municipal taxes. Why the hell would you deny them $20,000?
Right.
That is just astounding. You know why you would? Because you hate them.
Right. It's personal.
Because it's personal. Because it's petty. And I've had enough, Michael. And you're going to see a big change in the council chambers. I've had enough.
Well, good. We can certainly use it because we
And
need to
listen,
move things forward.
anytime,
It's-
anywhere, anyone wants to debate me about these things, the value of marketing, the value of BADC, the value of the partnership, the vision going forward. Anytime anyone wants to debate me, just let me know. 24/7, name a time. 4 in the morning, 9 at night, 10 at night. I don't care. I'll be there. I'll make you look dumb.
I'll tell you.
Thanks for getting me all fired up.
I know. Well, I want to get you fired up because not only do I want to get you fired up for this,
You're talking about my hometown
Exactly.
and its future. And Michael,
exactly.
that gets me fired up.
It gets me fired up too. I'll say I got on city council while you were mayor, and it was like a freaking. It was like, you hold on because you're going,
Right,
man.
here you go.
Here we go, and then
Yep.
and then it's like you leave, and then all of a sudden, it kind of like settled out, and then like I just. It's I'm ready to get going and
Shift
seeing
gears
some-
again.
we
You're
gotta
ready
get
to
going
shift
again.
gears
We
again.
do gotta
There's-
get
Should
going.
get up
There's
a
a
notch.
lot at stake. There's
Yeah.
a lot of
And we still had a lot of momentum going up, and
We
believe
do.
me, I just feel like
But
in
Michael,
the last
we're
year,
falling
maybe
behind.
2 years,
we,
3.
We do this petty arguing crap, and we're falling behind. And it really is
I agree,
about the
Linda.
relationships, and we can get it back. I mean, we can if we all pull in the same direction and just stop the silly shit.
Yeah,
We can get it back, and trust me, we have a very friendly administration in Governor Scott. The governor would, but it's not. But you got to show them something. You've got to present a good project. I think Prospect Heights. I think it's a great project, and and I think we can get the support of the administration. We can get the support of the federal government, and if they just, if folks just get out of BADC's way and let them lead, I think we can do great things. I do.
I agree. I'm not sure the reasons. Aired out. So I'm not sure what he's referring to. I'm assuming that's JD asking the question about what the reasons
Well, yeah,
are.
because it's not me, because I'm right here and I'm not
Yeah.
touching anything.
What the reasons are?
Yeah,
Petty. They're petty.
They're just okay. So
They're
there
petty.
you go.
It's
That's
as simple
the
as
answer.
that.
Yeah, there are
So-
no reasons. It's a person. It's personal. It's
yeah.
it's not.
You
there are
know,
no real
Michael,
reasons.
when I served, I worked with, and still, I'll work with anyone, as long as they're willing to move everyone, the city, forward. I'll work with anybody. And, unfortunately, I think we have a local administration that's intimidated. I think I intimidate the hell out of them. I'm sure I do. For good reason, probably.
And I think the answer to the question of why not support is because it's he would like to have the power. He doesn't have control and power over that.
Power is an illusion.
It
Right.
is. It absolutely
You
is.
know,
But power is given by fear, Michael.
That is true. But that kind of power is never long lasting.
No,
I mean,
it's
well,
not.
you hold people back.
Yeah.
And like I said, Michael, I'm willing to work with anyone.
Yeah.
But I've grown frustrated over the last year as I've said, well, what have we done as a council? And I'm sorry if folks see that as disrespectful. I'm not. I appreciate everyone's effort, but what are we really doing? Okay, we give some money away, but in terms of vision, in terms of projects like Prospect Heights, why aren't we supporting our partners? Only because guess what? We got the most done when I served. We got the most done when I just would turn Steve McKenzie loose because we recognized that there was too much work for one person.
Yeah.
And you couldn't possibly control it all. So Steve worked on things, I worked on things, the council worked on things, everybody worked on things, but we all
Like
had
a
a common
team, you mean?
Yeah, and we all had a common goal.
Wow.
And now I feel like, I look at our agendas and it's like, seriously? It's like, what the hell are we doing? I mean, we have $6.5 million coming from, and seriously, thank you, Senator Sanders. I mean, folks may be surprised. Tom Lauzon thanking Senator Sanders. Damn right, because he did something great for my town, and I appreciate it, and I am sincere in that, and I want to do a great job, but we haven't heard a damn thing about how we're going to move these projects forward. And if you think for a minute that Sue Higbee and the Civic Center Committee are going to do it, I got news for you.
Yeah.
It ain't going to happen.
Yeah. It needs to
So-
be done
Because
through-
if it was, it would have already.
I'm anxious to hear about, well, how do we manage these projects so that the next time the senator is looking to support the city of Barre, he feels good about it.
Right.
He
says
feels
that what
like
they did.
they made me proud and they did a great job. And I just don't feel like that's happening now.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about the partnership, huh? So I know that there's
what's not to love?
I know.
I mean, holy
It
cow.
doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, Tracy got out there. She had to raise $5,000 on her own. You know, no one helped her. She took the initiative, and she wanted to raise $5,000 so that the city of Barre would have new holiday lights. And she did that. And then on her own, solicited, you know, the fire department. Thank you, guys. You know, to put up the lights in the park. And then a bunch of us, including, you know, 3 of us here, you know, decorated the poles in the downtown. But it's, you know, again, with Tracy, it's about leading by example. Yeah. So, I mean, Michael, do you have any complaints?
No.
Neither do I.
No.
Yeah.
So it seems like every time we give Tracy resources, it comes back fivefold. So
I mean, you look
why,
at the craft fair.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, the craft fair, that was going away. And now it's not.
And she
Brought it
hit
back.
it. And I mean, and while the craft fair was going on, so she's setting up the craft fair in the morning, like early morning, like 5 in the morning. And then by 10 at night, she's downtown with, you know, with our motley crew decorating
lights.
lights. She just shows the kind of dedication that, you know, you don't buy and you don't pay for.
Right.
If she shows the kind of dedication, she loves this city. She really does. And, you know, now we've got this new project to make their home permanent in the Wheelock House. And I've presented, you know, Mayor's doing his best to freeze me out. Not going to happen because I know what's going on behind the scenes. And no, we're going to make that happen, Michael.
Yeah.
This is an organization that deserves our support. And if we just give them a little bit of support, like I said, they'll return it fivefold.
Yeah. And when you say behind the scenes, you're not talking about city council behind the scenes. You're talking about other things.
Oh, no. I'm talking about close personal relationships.
Right. Right.
So anyway, yeah, I'm a super supporter of the partnership.
Exactly.
I give money to the partnership. You know, it's not a lot, but I know that Tracy appreciates the support.
Of course.
And you know, I'm full in on keeping the partnership in that building. That is a cute little building, and it's a perfect place for the partnership. And I went out, got signatures, just like.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't take me very much to just go downtown.
No, we got
all
some
the people,
that night.
Yeah, that's right.
problem.
That's right.
And thank
Raylene
you. I understand Representative Anthony signed your
Yes,
petition.
he even
so
signed
thank you.
it.
Thank you for that. Because you know what? He recognized, you know, he was a mayor. He recognizes a good thing when he sees it.
Yep. Exactly.
And, listen, we'll get this done. And with the cooperation of the council, this will be a community project. It will not be controlled by any one person.
Right.
There will be, you know, we'll be looking for 25 supporters. And so it won't be controlled by any one person. And the best part about it is if the building ever does change hands going forward, the city will get a second bite at that apple. The city will get a right of first refusal. So if they want to say, look, okay, you guys did what you said you were going to do. The building is beautiful, but now, hey, it's 15 years down the road. You decided they're going to divest of it for whatever reason. The city gets the chance to buy it back.
Right.
I mean, it's like, you know, win-win for everybody, Michael. You know, you've been on the council for a long time, and so was I. I mean, different position as mayor, but the reason the council never pulled the trigger on selling that building, we were always concerned about what was going to happen in the future.
Yep.
Was it going to become Newberry's Light?
Right.
And
And
it
that's
could.
what it could.
It
And we were
absolutely
all
could.
concerned about that.
Yep.
So we could never quite pull the trigger. And as I look at the plan that I've helped the partnership develop, I mean, I think it checks all the boxes.
So let's talk about that plan. We can't talk about it, but what we
can't
can
talk
talk about it.
I can talk about anything
I
I damn
can't-
well please,
I
Michael,
can't
because
talk
I did the
about it.
plan and
I can't talk about it, but
Right.
you can talk about it, and we can talk about
I
the
mean,
people's health and
it's
wellness,
a true,
right?
It is a true community project.
Right.
It's not controlled by any one person. There are no conflicts of interest. The conflicts of interest come up when people are afraid that I'm going to run all over them. So it's an easy, I'm an easy mark for that. No, I'm going to push back on that one. I mean, I think if there's any conflict of interest, it's with these underlying currents. It's with the stuff you don't know.
Yeah.
But we could easily find out with a Freedom of Information Act request if someone was going to be honest, but I doubt they'd be honest. So it's just a great project. It's similar to what we've done. It's the same model, Michael. I mean, at 30 Washington Street, where Barre Housing Authority is, that is a building that was a community project. And eventually, in 6 or 7 more years, that building is going to be donated to the Meals on Wheels program, so it will provide $50,000 a year in perpetuity and funding. It's a community thing. People's Health and Wellness was the same model. So Mark Yora, remember Dr. Yora?
Yep.
So Mark Yora, who was one of the supporters of the 30 Washington Street Meals on Wheels project, after that project was so successful, Mark came to me and said, hey, could you help People's Health and Wellness? They got a, kind of a substandard location on the north end of town. Yeah, it was kind of sketchy. Well, I'm trying to be nice.
Little substandard. It was a lot.
It was
Yeah.
bad.
Unless they changed things since I
And
went
he
there,
said,
I mean. Could
could you help them? And I said, Mark, we can take this. And so at the time, we controlled the Barre Grand Association building, 51 Church Street. And we just rolled out, it was the same model. We got a bunch of community people together who said, look, we support this organization and we do get a return. It's not like you get a handsome return. You get like a 1% return. But we believe in the organization and we want to help. So they did. And Dan Barlow and his crew, holy cow, man, they do a great job over there. And now we're looking to roll out that same, and interestingly, Michael, when we did the People's Health, and maybe it was, I don't remember which one, but we went to the awards ceremony. When it was either 30 Washington or People's Health and Wellness, I don't remember which. But when we went to the awards ceremony and the governor awarded us the tax credits, we were explaining to the crowd, we were allowed to give remarks, and we were explaining to the crowd how this all works. And I remember about 5 people coming up to me afterwards and saying, holy shit, this would work anywhere. And I'm like, yeah, it will. All you need is you just need a group of community-minded people to push it forward. And that's all we're going to do with the partnership and the Wheelock building. It's a special building.
Yeah.
I
agree.
want it to be a community project. I don't want it to be, personally, I don't want it to be in control of any one person. If you do, let me know. I'll write the check. If you want me to control it, is that really what people want? I don't. I want it to be in control. I want it to be in the control of a number of people who all share the same goal.
Yeah. Regarding, because I can't tell
You're
any
getting me all
details.
fired up, Michael.
I know. I can't provide any
I need
details.
some
Connie did mention that that she didn't know about the first refusal for the city for the future. That was not something that was something you provided for information.
Yes.
Because you worked on the project. So
Correct.
So we're not, and because there's
Michael, I had my. So when the partnership approached me and said, "Will you help us with this?" I have, just like with People's Health and Wellness, they will pay pilot.
Right.
I mean, People's Health and Wellness Right now, that building is owned by a for-profit entity. We pay property taxes. One of the things I explained to People's Health and Wellness is that once we donate the building to you, it's absolutely important to me that you pay property taxes. I'm not going to argue about the benefit that so many nonprofits around the city provide, but when we take a large portion of our property and we transfer that to nonprofits and they don't pay property taxes, it puts a burden on everyone else and it raises our tax rate. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I said to the partnership when they approached me and said, well, could you help us with a plan like you did over here? I said, just so you know, guys, we may approach the city for for some property tax assistance, but eventually you got to pay full property taxes on this because we can't keep diluting the grand list. So
and that's the same model as the People's Health and Wellness Clinic.
People's Health and Wellness and
which passed unanimously.
Yeah.
Wait, no, that's not true.
It didn't.
It did not pass.
Who voted against it? I got to kick their. You did? Oh, you suck.
Of course I did. You know why I did. You know why?
Because
I
of
did.
No, because of the education.
Correct.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
I haven't voted against.
Michael, I still love you, and it's okay because it passed without your vote. But yeah, I mean, Michael, just like we did with downstream.
Let me just explain the reasoning.
Excuse me.
before, hey, look at that. So let me just explain my reasoning for that because some people may find it questionable. I don't support any
it's
tax
the apology tour.
Yeah, it's the apology tour. I do not approve or support, or not support, but I don't vote for tax stabilizations that are affecting the education portion of it. That's just something that I have never done. However, I have always maintained the fact that if a council was going to deny a tax stabilization because of the person, I would find that wildly inappropriate, and I would fight for that because it just feels icky. It's one thing.
Has that ever happened?
It hasn't. There was some concerns, but it hasn't happened.
Oh, with me?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Michael, I'm a lightning rod for complaint. You know why? Because there are people, they like nip at you, and it doesn't bother me. It's like I'm bigger than that.
It bothers me when people.
It doesn't bother me. It honestly
You've
doesn't.
You've seen some of my emails that I've said.
I know that, Michael. But no, I mean my God, conflict of interest. How many? 50 jillion times. You know what, Michael? Whenever they bring conflict of interest up, I love it. Do you know why? It means that I beat them. Mm-hmm. They have nothing left to complain about. So they're like, do you like it? His plan is awesome. How about him? He's awesome. But conflict of interest. Mm-hmm. Because they got nothing else. Mm-hmm. So when they bring up conflict of interest, I'm like, I won.
Yeah, that's the same as the bullshit button.
Yeah, it just is. Yep. So, and it's fine. And, more and more in the city council chambers, you're going to see me looking at people and saying, well, what the hell have you done?
Yeah.
Show me your accomplishment. You scream about the grand list, grand list. What have you done? If I held you to the same standard, so you look at barrier development and say, well, I don't see tangible results. Really? First of all, you're blind. But secondly, what if I held you to the same standard? You've been screaming grand list for a year, and the grand list went down. Is it time for you to resign?
Yes.
Well... No, and so, Michael, my honest answer would be no.
Right.
Because sometimes things take time.
It does.
So when you look at a marketing campaign, that is designed to turn what really is a bad reputation around, those things take time. And when you look at an organization that brought in $6.5 million last year, an organization that is promoting a project that will grow the grand list by $12.5 million in the next 5 years, why in the world wouldn't you give them $20,000?
And it's a
Holy
new
cow.
leader. It's not a new board. The same people have been fighting for the city for a long time. It's a new leader, but it's the same board.
Yeah.
We're talking about the same
And
group
May,
of people.
I'll tell you what.
She's a spitfire.
She
We're lucky to have her.
Yes.
man, because honestly, when Cody and quite frankly, Cody left because of the hostile environment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
And
know.
when Cody left, I was like, what are we going to do now? What is this organization going to do now in this employment environment when everyone was having a hard time filling positions? And man, they hit it right out of the park with May.
Yeah.
Yep.
She is awesome, has a ton of integrity. I'll fight for her.
Yep.
She won't fight against
I
the
know.
bullies in City Hall. Guess what? I will.
Yeah. Same here.
I'll knock their ass flat.
Yeah. I completely agree with you on that. That's, again, why we're here tonight.
Yeah.
To get me
Exactly.
all
Yeah, to get
riled
you
up
all
because
wired up.
I've been
To
I've been up for 18 hours. So yeah,
to get you all riled up and to get people to understand that the
man, you're gonna
support.
make me take out a petition if you keep going.
Well, I mean, I've done it
If
recently.
you, yeah. I was
mean,
gonna say.
I mean,
Well,
I'm just
I
saying. I didn't. I was going to do a petition to force the council to put it on a ballot and vote it.
Yeah.
So that the city of because I'm one of those people that believe that when the city council is not doing when the city council does things that the city doesn't want them to do, I'm a firm believer that sometimes you just have to go to the city, similar with the flag debate,
I agree.
right? And
I agree.
And this was one of those items that I truly believe that the majority of the city would sit there and say, "What are you doing? Give it." I mean, whether I know it, not give it, sell it to the partnership to maintain them in that building.
Yeah.
I think even though they've only been in there for a little while, they have done such an amazing job in there, and they have created their home there, and all the businesses love them down there. It's just the perfect fit. And I have a strange suspicion that our community would agree with that. And that's probably because I'm not in, an echo chamber of 121
JD.
people.
Well, no, I mean, I agree with you, Michael, because I think, if it's just about money, sell the weather vane.
It's not.
No,
not
if it's
about
just about
Yeah,
money,
that's true.
Right.
there's a weather vane. There were people flipping out when I was mayor because we had the weather vane that used to be, on top of the fire station. And there was a gentleman at the time, arts dealer, antique dealer, whoever, who kept offering more money, started at $1 million. I don't remember where it ended, 1.6?
Can't remember.
Yeah, I think it started at $1 million, and there were people in the community. Karen Lane was one of them. She thought for sure that I was going to sell the weather vane. I was going to recommend it to the council.
Mulvaney was too.
Oh yeah. Oh, she was
was-
absolutely. I think they were shocked when I'm like, no, it's not for sale.
Yeah.
It's part of our history. It's not about the money. It's about our history, and that's how I see the Wheelock building. I mean, that building it's absolutely incredible, and it's a little beat. I mean, it's been ridden hard, and it needs, folks who go in it and say, well, it looks pretty good. It doesn't really, it's got good bones. Now that building needs about $300,000 worth of work.
Yeah.
It's been ridden pretty hard, and give us a chance. And I think Barre is a very proud community, and I think we value our history. I realize that there are a lot of folks in control now who haven't lived here for a long time. And it really bothers me sometimes when the council doesn't appreciate the history, where other people have gone first.
Yeah.
We're not the first ones having these conversations. So I appreciate the history of this city. I appreciate the efforts of those who went before us, and I want to see that building restored. I want to give this city something to be proud of. That's all. That's all I want to do.
I would agree
So we need
agree.
people that have lived here for a really long time that
Yeah.
maybe haven't voted in a long time to stand up, step out, and vote.
Oh, they do.
And get going this year.
They do.
But more. We need
You
more
grab the
people.
third rail. They
Yeah.
found out with the flag.
Yeah,
And this
There
is
are
true.
certain
Very
things in
true.
this community
That
where
they'll come
you
out.
touch that third rail, and all of a sudden people come out and they're like, "No, you're wrong. That's not
Right.
who we are." You know, a lot of people, they're busy. They're raising
Yep.
their families. They're coaching Little League. They're going to church. They're teaching, Sunday school. They're busy. But I'll tell you what, when you touch that third rail,
That's a very
they'll
good way to put
stop
it.
and they'll come out in force and
I
let
agree.
you know what you
Yep.
did
And,
wrong.
and I'll just
Yeah.
say that we we talk about new people, and I don't think of it as that. I think there's because there's new people that come into our community and they fit right in, and they're
Right,
like
they're great.
on
Yeah.
on board with this. It's not about how long you've been here, but your value for
What is here?
what is here.
Yeah.
That is missing,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, that frustrates me. But I just wanted to point that out. So
Well, my only issue is, look,
Yeah, because Alice is a
appreciate
good egg.
the experience of some of the folks who serve with you and learn from that.
Yeah.
I mean, when I served as mayor, I can remember talking to Bob Bergeron, talking to Virgilio Bonacorsi, talking to Peter Anthony. There were people, because you wanted to gain their perspective and gain a little bit of historical perspective, and quite frankly, learn that some of the discussions that you're having, you weren't the first one to have those discussions. You're about the 19th person to have those discussions. So, it's just about respecting history, respecting, how this city has sort of evolved over the years. And if you take the time to listen a little bit, you'll learn a lot.
I agree. All right. Well,
Well,
so with that, we just want to tell people to vote for Article 7
absolutely.
for
Vote yes.
BADC. Vote
Listen,
yes.
vote for success.
vote yes.
Vote,
Vote for
for
yes.
the future.
Yes.
Don't vote a, sourpuss.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're doing great things. Give $20,000, folks.
Yep.
$20,000 to invest in your future. That's really what it's all about.
Yeah. It's important.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll just say that. And I hope that it passes. I think it will.
I hope it does.
I really think it will. I mean, there's a huge effort to make it not pass, almost as much of an effort to make the flag charter change not pass. So
Yeah, and that passed.
that passed.
You got to understand who,
And there was lies about that.
I
by the way.
trust the voters.
Yeah.
I
mean,
do.
straight up lies about that one.
When you really look at the whole electorate in Barre, they really define who we are.
Yeah.
It's not the 120 Barre values group.
No.
It's
Right.
the
And it's not the crazy right as well. I'm just saying, like, there are people in the middle, folks.
yeah. And
There's
you know
a
what?
lot.
The one
Right.
thing I love about Barre, most of the people are in the middle.
Exactly.
They will give you the
Right.
benefit of the doubt
Exactly.
if you work hard and if you
Exactly.
show them something. They'll give
But
you the
what's-
benefit of the doubt, and I think people are going to do that with BADC.
The frustrating thing that I have with some are when you call people that are relatively in the middle or on, a little on the whatever side in the middle, you can't call them extremists, which has happened recently. You got to be careful on who you're calling extremist. But that's okay.
If you don't, there are some people. There are some people who, if you don't agree with them, you're immediately labeled an extremist.
Right, and we can't do that. That's not how. That's the reason why. Yeah. Anyway, whatever.
It turns, Michael.
I hope so.
It
I hope
turns.
so. But anyway, so folks, we just want to say thank you for watching. We want you to vote Article 7 yes. Hope that you get out there, take a look at the pages of those that are running for office. We have a very large slate of candidates, both in Barre City and Barre Town for the school board. And I highly recommend you go to their pages, ask them questions, ask me questions. I'm okay with that. But the most important thing is that you're a informed voter and not just listening to people saying things that are not necessarily true. Just
But
saying.
most importantly, Michael, when you talk to any candidate, thank them.
Oh, yes.
It takes
not
a
easy.
lot. I don't care where you are, whether you're a supporter, not a supporter. It's a lot of effort to run a campaign. And even though we may have different perspectives, people are putting a lot of work into it. They're putting a lot of work into it because they really want to make, Central Vermont or Barre City better.
I agree.
So
And
let's take the vitriol out of, vote for the best candidate. Take the vitriol and the, big dicks out of it.
And people not only
I'm just saying.
the campaign process is extremely it's extremely draining, and you don't know what's going on in their home as well. So just as a side note, so just remember that. Be nice to folks.
And don't steal campaign signs.
Don't steal.
You're an asshole if you do
Nobody
that.
does that. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Well, it did
It
happen.
has
to
happened
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
It hasn't
It
happened
has.
lately.
It has.
You know what? Just because it's winter. Seriously. And nobody wants to put the effort. It's so damn cold. Everybody's like, I'm not going outside to steal a campaign sign. It's too freaking cold. I'll run over it with my car.
That's a good point. I do have a Jeep.
Oh my gosh, Michael.
No, I'm
Here we
just
go.
kidding. I'm not going to do that.
He will do that.
I will not.
He will do that.
No, I won't.
Yes.
You
Just
know what?
measure the wheelbase on his Jeep and then measure the tire tracks, at the crime scene. Now, I'm saying,
thinking
Michael,
this through.
don't do it, man.
I am now going to go out.
That would,
gonna go-
that would be worse
So-
than hanging the hearts up. I'm just saying. You don't be stealing
No,
signs
I'm not
with your
going to.
Jeep.
No. What I'll do is I'll go plant one of my signs, and then I'll go run over it with a Jeep.
There you
and
go.
then post it on social media.
And measure the wheelbase. I'm just
Exactly.
saying, this, Michael, you're not going to be as anonymous as you think, man.
Yeah.
The
All right.
Jeep has a very distinct wheelbase.
It does. I'm not going to run over anybody's signs, except for my own, maybe. I don't know. But no, seriously, I do want to say thank you for coming down on a Saturday
Thanks for
night.
having me. Really, thank you.
Both of you. Okay. And want to say thank you to everybody for watching the Barre Beat podcast live from Fly on the Wall Productions, and hope that you have a lovely evening.